Hello, everybody. This is David Friedman, your co-host with my co-host, Dave Burkus. How are you?
Well, I'm doing fine, David, but I need to hear you more so I know whether or not you're an AI this week.
Okay, well, let me start with this. Welcome to everybody to TCA Crossroads, where entrepreneurs and investors connect. Now, that's definitely not AI. You can tell by my accent. If it were AI, it would clean up that New York accent of mine.
I was just thinking that the New York accent gave you away, but AI is going to be able to do that very easily very soon. So at the beginning of these broadcasts, we better ask ourselves to be sure we are real.
Yeah, so AI is going to be a subject of our discussion today with our guests.
Right.
But what else is going on with you?
Well, I'm kind of happy. Today is the day that we released a product that I've been working on with the developer in Argentina for at least 6 months. And we released it today on LinkedIn and X. It's a product called V30 AI, V, the number 30 dot AI. And you'll find it is a AI-based complete planning, marketing, strategic solution that is so automated you'll be shocked. And it uses only your own data and nothing else. Or you can get down like I did to load all of my books and publications. Anyway, I'm excited because we got about, I think it was 13,000 views in the first 2 hours. So we're off to the races on yet another angel investment, David. Let's
I,
all
I
hope we get a lot of these.
I think this is great. And after this TCA Crossroads podcast, we should double that number, I hope. We'll keep our fingers crossed.
Life is good.
Life
Now
is
it's
good.
time for us to bring our guest out to the forefront. This is Alex M. He is the CEO and co founder of Peachscore. We'll hear much more about that. But, Alex, how are you?
Good. How are you guys? Happy Friday.
Happy
Happy
Friday to
Friday.
you. I just want to point out to everyone before we start, just for transparency, Dave and myself are both advisors to Peachscore, but this is not going to be a sales process. We're going to talk in general and then get into maybe some of the specifics. But it was just an interesting AI solution that is going to be used by both investors as well as by entrepreneurs to help them grow their business and make better investment decisions. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Dave, to ask, Alex, what you would like, and we can kick it off.
Well, we know more than the audience knows. So let's start from the very beginning. And, Alex, tell us a little about your background, not much, and then tell us how you came across developing something like Peachscore.
Sure. Yeah. First of all, thank you so much for having me here today. I'm Alex. I'm the founder and CEO at Peachscore. A little bit more about my background. I've got my master's in computer science, especially in big data and data-driven solutions. So I was an entrepreneur back in 2012. I founded a company and which was meant to predict the future trends out of big data and social media data. So when I finished the company, Plug and Play, which was my old investor, they gave me an offer to join the management team. So I would say I moved from the light side to the dark side, from the entrepreneurship to investment. And I managed $10 million fund, invested in 18 companies, one IPO, few acquisition. The portfolio worth over $600 million today. Well, I don't own that portfolio. The portfolio owns by Plug and Play. I was just managing the fund. And also I founded a media and advertising accelerator program at Plug and Play, which working with large corporations and with like Amazon, Meta, Red Bull Media, and so on and so forth. So that was when I learned about a big gap within a startup ecosystem, which said, okay, maybe it's the right time for me to address and fix that issue. So I moved out from Plug and Play. I founded Peachscore in 2021 and backed by Plug and Play. And now here we are after 4 years.
Good. Well, I'm looking over your shoulder and it says Peachscore data-driven accelerator. So the first question I have is, let's talk in general, not about Peachscore specifically, but
Right.
in general about data-driven acceleration. Why is this concept a novel approach for an entrepreneur? And how does AI help the entrepreneur do a better job in developing their business and growing their business?
Very good question, David. The reason I started the company, I found a problem, and that problem is very simple. Out of 1.6 million applications submitted to accelerators globally, only 48,000 companies get accepted, leaving 97% of entrepreneurs behind, right? So Peachscore, I would like to call it not just a Y Combinator for everyone else. So basically, it's a data-driven platform that helps startup founders accelerate growth and enables investors to make smarter decisions. Now, you might ask, okay, who else might be able to use this kind of solution? My answer would be our solution ultimately can be used by other stakeholders who wants to support founders, including government agencies, universities, and large corporations. So that is the first part of your question. Now, your question is that, okay, might be how AI can help the founders.
Yeah, why are we seeing AI as the sort of like the new way to help a company do better? Because the old approach was to have personal interaction. Dave or I or somebody else would be a mentor. We go through the normal acceleration. But how is AI now changing the way that an entrepreneur will develop his or her business?
Very good question. So the root of problem, I believe, is that accelerators are not built to scale, which is why together combined they serve less than 3% of the founders, right? So they are very human-centric, which is good, but again, it doesn't scale, rely heavily on manual processes, offer limited and selective. You said me and David are having personal touch, but I would say that is very selective, not for all the founders. And more important, there are no standards of credibility to improve visibility for majority of founders. That's why I believe there's a huge gap that AI can significantly enhance this part of the ecosystem to provide access to most of the founders who wants to access networking opportunity. They want to receive insight about their business, how they can improve it over time, and increase the odds of visibility and credibility, and more open more doors for fundraising through their journey.
So let's kind of divide this between founders on the one side and investors on the other, and delve into the founder side first, just for a few moments. What I've heard from you just now, what is important for the founders? What do we get out of it as a company when the founders all sign up?
Right. So when you are the founder, I mean, I just want to, because this is two-sided market. So one side we are dealing with founders, the other side is our investors, other stakeholders within the ecosystem who support founders. For founders, as I mentioned earlier, they ask this question: why they join accelerator programs, why they want to get into ecosystem. Because they want to have access to resources. They want to have access to more visibility, a structured education. They want to have an opportunity to network with other, industry leaders. They want to build a successful business, basically, sure. So Peachscore, through the AI platform, the data-driven platform, can provide all these, solutions in one place for the founders to gain insights. Business intelligence, market insights, benchmarking their company against hundreds of thousand companies, understand their weaknesses, their strength, how they can improve it, why it matters. Most of the founders, at least I kind of dealt over the years, especially if they're first-time entrepreneurs, they lack even understand the basic things that might be considered important as they're building a scalable solution and venture. Of course, you might say, a lot of founders don't need to raise money from venture capital, and they can still build a sustainable business and grow it, which is correct. But Peachscore is not only for, let's say, people who want to fundraise, also for the companies that want to understand how they can increase and grow, accelerate their growth could be a complementary solution to help them to prevent mistakes and increase the chance of success as they're building their companies.
Are the founders who join and give all the information and get in return the education and the guidance leaving something behind for the company?
So you mean leaving the equity part? Or are we talking about the equity?
Data.
The data, of course. When you join a platform as a startup, then as you're updating your information into our system, the system is able in real time provide all the feedback for you and compare your business and give you insight to your competitive landscape, who are, might be your potential customers. And of course, as they're kind of contributing to this data, Peachscore could become more intelligent. We have more updated information. So everyone is a winner. The investor who's interacting with this data, the founder who's using this data to benefit how they can build more successful business, and of course for Peachscore long, term, the data has so much value, which is giving a more in-depth insight into the ecosystem.
So I assume this data gets de-identified and still becomes available to those that use it without the names of the companies.
Yeah, so the privacy for it's kind of like FICO score, a credit consumer score, right? Everyone has a score. I have, you have, everyone has it. But I will authorize maybe financial institutions or insurance companies or mortgage companies to access my information. So we basically reverse engineer the credit consumer kind of mindset and methodology into a sort of ecosystem where founders own the data, but it's still their information can be aggregated without reveal who's that company, and also based on case by cases, they can authorize anyone who can access the information.
All right, let me follow on, because you just pointed out that there's a score like a credit score. So let's probe a little on that one before we focus on how this helps an investor. But tell me about Peachscore is the name of your company, and you literally have a Peach score. How was that score developed, and how does that help the entrepreneur? Do you have it just a black box, or do you just aggregate it to help the entrepreneur figure out how to improve different elements to improve the score?
So David, see, look, the technology that we created, first of all, we have been in development for 4 years, before even ChatGPT existed, or generative AI. So what we created is able to evaluate the strengths and weaknesses of startups using over 900 key business metrics across 10 dimensions. The initial model that was trained on data from 600,000 companies and more than 20 gigabytes data set. So in a sense, we designed a super angel investor brain that is able to evaluate 5 Ws, right? Who are the founders, the team members, including their educational background and a professional experience that they might have before starting this business. What patterns can be extracted by mapping their profile and progress to historical data, right? Where the company is located, who the competitors are, and what is the current growth looks like in this company. So when the company was founded and how much progress has been made since. So these are all the information that you might, when you're interacting as an investor with an entrepreneur or you're listening to a pitch, you, not intentionally, you kind of putting all these pieces together to make a judgmental decision, right? So basically, the way that we created this system, it applies different methodology. Now, I can definitely deep in and dig into the kind of methodology that we are using, but basically everything that comes, which we call it a Peachscore, which is a score tier based, and then like credit consumers and report, is backed by data. So to keep it short, always for investors, for decades, there was a debate that investment is an art or science, right? Mm-hmm. Or fundraising is art and science, right? I would say it's both art and science. Peachscore is trying to add that science to the art. So not replacement of the art, just adding a new dimension for founders, for investors, for anyone who wants to support the founders to have more and faster and better kind of outcome and insight into engagement. Maybe corporate calls that, engagement thematic thesis. The investor might call it investment thematic thesis.
Okay.
Okay, so David, take over and ask what this is for the investor. I'm curious.
All right, let me take over them for the investor. Yeah, so we have the score for and data that the entrepreneur can use. Now, the other side of the equation, as you mentioned, it's a two-sided marketplace. The investor. The investor could be a VC, it could be an angel, it could be a corporate VC, it could be a family office or whatever. Why would these investors want to use Peachscore? Not only the score, but the detailed report. Tell me what's in the report. Why would they want to use it vis-a-vis doing the normal way they do business?
So David, your question has, I have to kind of categorize the answer to your question. If it depends who is that investor. Are we dealing with retail investors who
Well,
we
let's
have?
take a look at angel investors, which is what our whole pitch is about.
Sure. So just very quick, I want to talk about retail investors because this is a big category is missing when we are talking about investment. There are probably hundreds of millions of dollars a year allocated by retail investors in crowdfunding platforms. So I know that your answer is more specific about angel groups, but I want to address is another huge market that most of these people invest without even prior knowledge or experience within the crowdfunding, and majority lose their money. So what Peachscore can do for this group, of course, is significant because they have a lack of even understanding the basic knowledge of this investment, which can help them to identify the better investment, and better understand, about the company that they're looking into, right? So now the second group, which is angel groups or macro VCs, like I just want to talk about angel groups in your example because as far as I know, angel groups, most of the positions are voluntary, right? And they don't have necessarily a big budget to allocate to hire 10 venture associates to look into the deals. So in this case, Peachscore can play a very good complementary solution to not only save money, but also help investors on their Mondays morning meetings or Friday, meetings
How
that
do
they
they do
want to.
that? How do they do that? How does Peachscore help them do that?
So basically, Peachscore annotate the deals for you. Without you doing anything, it can extract a spotlight of the company and associate a score, grade, tier-based risk to each company. And then if you want to just dig in, then there are 30 pages report. You can dig in and click to see what are the risks, what are the watchfuls in this company, what are the good standing, the strength of this company. That helps you and the rest of the team to spend more time on other stuff and let the AI to improve not the speed of the decision making process, but also the due diligence process. In many cases, I'm sure there is a debate in angel groups on the committee. Okay, should we go with this company? Someone present this company. Someone talk about that company. Imagine you have a data. Is much easier way to convince others backed by data if you want to just show and talk about a specific point in the group. That means you will expect higher quality companies to review over time and even the companies to present at angel groups.
So if I'm an investor, just my following, then I'm going to turn over to Dave. But if I'm an investor, an angel investor, do I get a report or do I just get independent scores? How detailed is the analysis when I do due diligence? And I understand it'll complement that which is being done today. Is it a 20-page report? I'm just trying to get a scope of this. Big report, small report, the details in the report, just shortly, in very brief format, what does it really give me?
It gives you the score of the company from 300 to 850 plus, which is inspired by FICO score, same methodology because we don't want to educate people. Second, it comes with a tier because a score by itself doesn't mean anything. Because a score might have kind of have false positive and false negatives. But when you normalize that, calibrate your score, the score with a tier base, then you have a much higher, like 95% accuracy on the results that you will see, which shows you the likelihood of the company current condition and at the moment. It's not predicting the future. Just want to just clarify, when we are talking about a score, when we're talking about the tier base, like we say, okay, this company is 720. What does that mean? This company tier is 700 to 750. That means it's tier 2 risk level, and then comes with the data. That means report. So if you want to just very fast understand if they're serial entrepreneurs, maybe they're coming from top corporations, maybe they're coming from relevant educational background, especially if you're talking about biotech or some specific industries. If you want to know if they had a prior exits, so the system is able to create those summaries for you and the rest of the kind of team in order to able to have much better kind of understanding in a shorter time about that specific company.
Okay, so would you believe it's about time to consider wrapping up? So I have a few more questions, and I'm sure Dave does too. Let's see how fast we can get some of these off. You have a very technical background, as I understand it, in engineering and in AI. So how did you develop this AI before we had something like ChatGPT 1?
So David, by the way, David. So I'm making it easy. Just call him David. So, but
Yeah, we do that on purpose to confuse people.
On purpose.
so this is how we design it. So if you look at the consumer credit scores, I'm just going to using as an analogy and refer to a consumer, because we reverse engineer kind of like a credit score for consumers, which has been around for decades, right? So the only way to reduce false positives and negatives, right, was through a category of AI called expert system, combined with tier-based methodology. It means, okay, if you are 700 to 750, it doesn't matter. Your rate is same. If you want to go and get a mortgage, I don't care you are 749 or you are 701, because you are in the same tier. So we'll give you the same offer in this tier, right? So that is our methodology, because we learned through years of experience and seeing what was been working over the last 70 years or not working. What I kind of got into conclusion that the only way at the moment is to deliver consistent results, right, and reliable results is the same method that FICO score, Experian, Dun & Bradstreet, everything that the foundation of credit consumers is being created in this system. Now you talk about generative AI. We talk about ChatGPT. Amazing. It's gonna change the world. It's already started to change the world already in many segments, but not where the sensitive data is gonna just measure, right? Generative AI, at least at its current state, public state, because we don't know what they have behind the scene, but I'm talking about the current state, that what is available through APIs or the endpoints. Unfortunately, in my opinion, is not ideal for this purpose. Each time the same data submitted, it can return different results, which with false positives that might go up to 40 to 60% in some cases. So on top of that, you don't have access to the source code. It's not an open source, right? And then leaving people with no control over the adjustments or inputs. However, because we go through expert system model, we can let our users, let's say investors, to customize their score, to customize the investment thematic thesis. They can control the output. And that is a key, because I don't believe that investors are going to just say, okay, this is going to be our crystal ball, and from tomorrow we are going to just using Peachscore or similar services. It's all about giving them flexibility so they can apply their investment thematic thesis, because maybe they have different approaches, maybe they have different methodology, and only expert system at this moment, as far as I know, can enable that kind of like, is result for investors.
That helps. Okay, I think I'm pointing to you, David. It depends on which side of the screen you're on. So
Yeah,
it's
I'm
time
on
for
this
you
side. All right.
it's
So
time for
in
you
30 seconds or less, in short form this time, what do you prescribe for an entrepreneur if they use an AI system? What things should they look for?
Are you talking about a specific, like,
If they're going to use something like Peachscore, or if they're going to use AI, any caveats, any issues, any advice for the entrepreneur that's going to be using these additional tools to help them succeed?
So David, if we look at the kind of what are the existing solutions for founders, I would say almost zero. The reason that traditionally, because entrepreneurs consider with the lower budget, right, and large corporations, financial institutions, insurance companies, VC firms, they had budget. Most of the tools for business intelligence and market insight built by, I don't want to just call the names, but again, this is the reality. CB Insights, PitchBook. We have so many different platforms for investors to look at more data, even though they're become a large static databases to me. I mean, there is room to improve, but for entrepreneurs, I think now everything changed. I believe it's not only Peachscore. I believe that there are more and more tools coming to ecosystem, giving an opportunity for founders with a low, which is low budget allocation and very affordable, to gain insight into the ecosystem, to gain insight who they should hire over the next 5 years if they want to scale their business. What are the risks that they will deal with it, or they have to prepare themselves to when they want to do the fundraising or close a next customer. The point is that what I have seen, at least at Peachscore, AI significantly can help founders to craft a really good story. It's all about the storytelling, right? The data helps you to understand where you put your focus as a founder, either on your sales, on your product strategy, market adoption, especially if you are a horizontal solution that applies to multiple different industry, which one has a less sales cycle?
I think the answer, and we got to wrap it up,
Sure, yeah.
is that the data that you have with AI, with a system that uses AI with Peachscore, is to help you tell your story the best way you can to have the best potential for success. And Dave, I like that answer. I think that's a good way to end it. Any other final comments from you?
I was going to say the same. I think he said the right thing at the right part, and I think you summarized it very well. So go ahead and take it away, Dave, and thank you, Alex.
Thank
Yeah,
you so
thank
much.
you, Alex. I mean, this has been very instructive. AI is an enabler for both the entrepreneur, an enabler, and a very good tool to help investors make intelligent, better, faster decisions. Alex, we thank you for joining. And for Dave Burkus and myself, we wish you happy investing always.